Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome back to Red Pill Fight Club, part of the Bowling Point Live network. And of course, the most delicious, nutritious, and fictitious drink will be advertised later, with also that wonderful Patriot company. We'll be getting to that as well. But tonight, what do we got? Who do we got? Why do we got them? We're going to find out all those questions: who, what, where, and why. All of that and she. We're going to get into that. So we got here Ryan Mack of the Ryan Mack Show is on tonight. Go and give him a hello, hello.
Howdy, howdy. Thanks for having me, man.
Well, happy to have you and happy to get your face out there. While I tool and noodle around with a few things in the back of my ground, I want you to tell them who you are, where they can find you, and why. So who you is, who you am, who you
Well,
be.
I am Ryan Mack. You can find me on Rumble and X under Ryan Mack Show. Ryan McKenzie, if that's your thing, that's fine. I'm public. Just a small town Midwestern kid, fed up with the crap that went on the last 10 years, and I got more politically involved under the Obama administration, using my voice the last 4 years, especially during COVID. To wake up everybody else. You've seen some of the big channels getting busted on YouTube, and while they have a lot more years on me, I felt the local people did not have that access to some of the information that needed to be heard. So I, along with a few others locally in the Central Illinois market, reached out and got on some radio time, did some shows, learned that. Listen, I have never been anything part of streaming or radio before in my life, so it was a nudge for sure. From a higher power that I believe was a calling that I think I have. So, am I going to make some mistakes along the way? Sure. Am I going to look like an idiot sometimes? Absolutely. But I will always strive to tell the truth, and I will tell you my opinion on those stories that come out. And it's up to my audience and up to them to whether or not they can decide to believe or not. I'm going to share the story, give you my thoughts on things that happen. And then if it needs to be waited for a couple weeks before more information comes out, I'll tell you straight up, hey, I'm not going to give you information yet until I know more details. I don't believe in the propaganda spreading mainstream media BS that everybody's been pushing. We used to get our news from like 3 stations, and it would tell you all you needed to know.
I remember that,
if it was true or not.
Yeah,
Growing up, I mean, I was born in the late 80s, so I did watch a little bit of the news at night when I was younger. My parents had on, 3 or 4 channels, and it was, ABC, CBS, whatever. But it's one of those things where I just want the story. I can decide for myself if I believe that there's something more there or not. And too much of the media in this country and around the world has been, no, I'm going to tell you a story that I think you should know. And they're not telling the story. Right? They're not telling the whole truth. They're telling their side of the truth, and there's only one truth. So that's what I try to bring. I never want to steer my audience the wrong way. If I don't know something, I will quite frankly call out, I don't know enough on that topic. And I will find somebody who does, and I will have them on. But that's what I bring on a much smaller scale to the podcast realm.
Good. Integrity is always important.
I wanted to be a fighter for the little guy, and here I am.
It turns out the little guy is us. Yeah, the little guy is all of us little guys. I mentioned here, so over here in Woodgeek
Yeah.
saying some of that countdown music sounds like Shire music from Lord of the Rings. No, it's actually, Lord of the Rings Online. I guess the game he's referring to it. It's actually from Conan the Barbarian, 1982. The first one is The Anvil of Crom. And then the other one is, it's the first song you hear, you know what I mean? Da, da, because this is an epic show, and I am Kang, the Lord of the Reaper Horde of the House Red Pill, first of my name. So, yeah, it's from that, and I spliced it with the orgy scene later on in the film when they come and assault Thulsa Doom again. And they catch those people committing cannibalism and mass sex, and you see Thulsa Doom shapeshift into a giant snake, and it's that
That's creative. I like it.
Amazing music. So I put that for my countdown timer. So it makes me very unique. I think that branding is very important. The Kang persona evolved over time because they said, hey, look, started calling me that because started wearing a goofy ass fucking crown. which I now, of
Yeah.
course, have a totally legit solid gold. It's just
Yeah.
chocolate wrapped in foil. It's chocolate.
Right.
It's emergency
Looks good.
rations on my head, but I don't take the brand as seriously as I take the message. Remember, the way it's presented, I do
Right.
comedy and
Mhm.
commentary. I'm a musician. I'm an entertainer. I entertain to get it across. Like Steven Crowder, he does this funny comedy shit
Yeah.
too. They do the
Right.
music as well. So if you like Crowder, I'm a little bit like Crowder. I also get kind of
Oh
hot
my
and
gosh.
passionate
Yeah.
about stuff,
That's good
just like
stuff.
Dan Bongino. You watch Dan Bongino. You said you
Yeah.
got hooked up with the Dan Bongino crew. Tell me a little bit more about that, your experiences with Dan Bongino and his crew and
Yeah.
his
So
chat and all that.
I have never met him personally, but I did follow in his chats as much as I could without it seeing it broken on the screen because he breaks chats frequently. But his moderators are
That's so
awesome.
true.
So I did get in some of their chats when they went live and got to know them, and it really is one of those feelings like you're not in a bunch of celebrity pits. You know what I mean? Especially the moderators and even Bowling Point Live. You're not somebody that you're stepping on someone lower than you, and we're all in this together. And so Speaks and Anita, they are awesome at what they do, and I wanted to be a part of that. And so I got into messaging with them and reached out, and Rev has been great chatting, everybody. And even though I've never met any of you, I feel like I have already. And it's all about connections, especially in this atmosphere. It's all
Correct.
about, can you reach out and make those connections? And I am a people person. I have no problem making out connections with anybody, as long as you are like-minded and can have a sense of humor, and we're all in the same fight together. Then I'm in. So there's even people I disagree with that I can still be friends with, but it's
Of course,
the
we can
hard
all
the
enjoy
hard
the
brain
pizza,
dead
yeah.
ones that all they do is halt insults at you, and then they can't have a conversation. That's the ones like, all right, I'm not going to waste my time because you're not going to get it.
That's right.
So there are plenty of friends in my walk of life that I can get along with, and we disagree politically. That's where we are as a country, where we should be. And unfortunately, the last probably 20 years, we have not.
Right.
So
We just haven't. We haven't, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm excited to be a part of Bowling Point Live, and I'm excited for the future of what we all can do together. And I'm glad that this is a group of people so far that I have met and that I continue to meet that are all in the same common goal, right? Just a bunch of people hanging out, loving America, and wanting to keep what America is. And that's the most important thing.
Yeah, and
more
a
so
lot
than
of
anything
people,
else.
it's
conversation.
culture.
I can talk my head off to anybody, but if it's not going anywhere, where's it going?
Of course. It's a lot of people, they need to be kind of on board with you. And they don't necessarily have to have the same destination. We're all on the same bus
Yes.
going over the freaking cliff. The cliff is on fire, and there's sharks with lions in their
Yes.
mouths waiting to devour us.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then there's giant nuclear explosions coming our way too. We have a whole lot of stuff. There's that doom asteroid, comet, or meteor that's due to hit us at any point. There's always some reason for the world to be saved. So you might as well speak up now. You might as well go and squeak into that good night, because it's the only opportunity you have to make any change at all. And if you have family, which you do, if you have roots in the community, which you do, if you have a vested interest in this nation's thriving, in this nation's betterment, in this nation's survival, like I have, and clearly you have, and clearly the people that are in our chat. Oh, we got rated by No Drag, No Drama. Thank you very much. Speak and Anita are coming over right now. Speak the Truth McGroin of the Dan Bongino Show, along with Anita McGroin, the founder of the McGroin Nation. She is also known as Queen of the Chat. And I always defer and tip my hat to her. I do appreciate them spending their time with us here tonight to come and let me talk to you guys about why I think you should follow Ryan Mack. Ryan, go ahead and take a few moments and drop your link in the chat. I see Snarl Barky is in the chat. We got Tick Pickin' McGroin. Brother, how are you doing there? And we got also T. McGroin. Good to see you again. Of course, Astro and Russ are in the chat. Wood Geek has been chatting it up. Mama Bear is in the hizzy. What's going on, cuz? What's going on, cuz? Absolutely. Of course, Newt's been chilling with us since the beginning, before we even got up and running. And let's see, if we missed anybody, let me know. Duncan McGrind in the chat, FF in the chat. If I missed you, if you are lurking, make sure that you don't lurk. Make sure you get in the chat. And if you don't have a Red Rook, please support the show by becoming part of the Red Rook Nation. That is the number one way to support the show. It's the number one thing that Rumble allows us to have 100% of, to my knowledge. So if you want to really support the show, either you click on my copy pasta, you drink the show, you can like the show with a match, and there's also that too. We'll talk about it later because YouTube rules, And then there's, of course, you want to wear the show. I got t-shirts and shit available for you guys. But all that's an aside. The way to help me directly and every month is to say, hey, look, you're worth $5, Kang. You're worth the price of a cup of coffee. Less than your Starbucks kombucha enema. Less than that. Less than the cost of the hair dye that some of those people out there dye their hair weird, crazy, poisonous colors, letting you know. Less than that, you guys can support this show. And when you hit Ryan up, consider the same. If you do have a Rook already, make sure you gift someone else if you can. Like we just got a Rook gifted by Russ Henneman. He's of the Reaper Horde, of course. Thank you. We do appreciate that, my brother.
Thanks.
We appreciate. And boom, you can put a link in the chat if you need to. No links, please. That's hilarious. Oh, yeah. So definitely, Ryan, go ahead and drop a link if you have not already to your Rumble and anywhere else. Do you have like a all my links or a link tree yet?
I don't. I could look into the build Netta. I really just
You
it's
need to do
Facebook,
that, yeah.
X, or
Gotcha.
it's Rumble.
Now, there's
they're
one
all
place we
similar
can go.
named.
So we can go to boilingpoint.live. Can we not? I think we can. That's a little website that I'm a part of, and the content creators page. We're going to go to the page of the content creators, and we're going to go ahead and see that there's been an update. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and let's go ahead and choose the. There we go. Boilingpoint.live. Here we go, everybody. And where are we at over there? We got that nice dark mode. Of course, that's darkreader.org. You can go there and actually get the extension for your browser to make it a dark background, which is so nice. Love it. So, of course, down here, you're going to see Ryan, the Ryan Max Show. He's got his Facebook, his X, and his Rumble. Go ahead and click on his Rumble. We'll fire that up. I am following him. And let's go ahead and pull it up on screen for you guys to see. So he's over here.
Hit that follow button.
I'll hit that follow button. The follow button. So you said you've been like awake and like aware of what's been going on since the Obama years. Is when you started to notice that things were turning into a shit show. Tell me more about your evolution of thought. When did you start speaking out, getting on the internet, and saying shit, this sucks?
Well, Obama kind of made a shit show, but he's got a nicer way of saying it, right? He's really destructive in his actual plans and his actions, but he's a very good sweet talker. He can tell you the sky is blue and it's sunny and just rain on your parade instantly. And I don't remember exactly what I was doing during the Obama administration. I don't know where I was working at the time, but I know that jobs were scarce, prices were through the roof. And I got tired of what are we doing? He doesn't sound like he's really American in his soul. Now that, the birther thing could come up to haunt me later on if I call him out, but that's
I believe the birther thing was legit. I'm one of those people that conspiracy theorons. I believe that the conspiracy theorons on that, like the Charlize theoron, as Salty Cracker would say, I think that that's probably true.
Yeah. Anybody that props up a very anti-American, very anti-life kind of attitude and approach to a country leading one of the most free countries on the planet and espouses the very idea and hates the idea of America probably isn't really I want leading my country.
Correct. And it's weird how they groomed him right from being a senator to being, you never heard his name before.
And they tried. Yeah, well, in Illinois you did. because
Yeah,
governors
locally.
back
I mean, I
then
meant on the
were trying to
national
sell
stage.
his
Excuse me.
seat as he was leaving the Senate seat.
Yes, I meant on the national
Yeah.
stage. I live in Charleston,
Yeah,
South
yeah.
Carolina. I
Oh,
hadn't
no.
heard a word about him
Yep.
until someone walks up. Are you going to vote for Barack Obama? Who? He's the latest and
nowhere.
greatest
Well-
thing. It comes with a toaster. And you're like, really? It comes
He
with
was,
toasters?
yeah, he was the hopey, changey guy, right? Like he was like, I'm gonna do this, and this is gonna be sunshine and rainbows. And what he did was launch bombs and nukes across everything we know as a country. So he leaves office. Who we're gonna vote for, right? He has 8 years of destruction, even though you don't really see it because you're kind of blinded by what he was saying.
Mm-hmm.
You start to see the writing on the wall. You start to see this like Islamic Muslim kind of mold of like, we want to change America transformatively into something that we know they're not and we're not. And I started doing more research on the ideology of the Democrat Party back then, where you still had progressives in the party, but they weren't as prominent as they are now. They're not as psycho as they are now. But you have a liberal base. And liberals and conservatives, I'm under that constitutional umbrella, right? Liberals and conservatives want the same end goal, but they have very different pathways to get that same goal. When our country was founded, they were godly men who had very different ideas on how they wanted to grow a nation. They came together and formed these documents that we know today, and they've survived over almost 250 years.
Can I
So
ask you?
if
I'm going
we
to ask
get
you this
back to
question.
any resemblance of that, to be great.
Can I ask you this? You said that liberals
Yeah.
and conservatives have the same end goal. Can you? What's that mutual goal?
Liberals, the traditional liberal conservative.
Oh yeah, don't tread on me,
platforms.
small government, fuck you, war liberals,
Yes,
like the
yes,
Democrats
yes.
used to be.
That
that we've become?
that doesn't exist anymore. Yes.
Yeah, you know why?
So
Because of
if
my generation.
Yes, if JFK and others in his party were alive today in the same mindset, they would be conservative. The RFK Jr. type of person where, yeah, I like some environment stuff. No, I don't want you vaxing me without anything I know what's in it. Those kinds of ideas. We had different, lower taxes for most conservatives. Big businesses over the years changed the platform. We're going to funnel money to big business corporations. The Republican Party still has that in their tent to an extent, but the traditional platforms of liberal conservatives had the same goal. We love our country. We just have different ideas of how to get there, to make it better, right?
Now,
You don't have that today.
now the left
You
is
have
not the same
a
as
Republican
liberals.
Party that has come back to the Reagan era, Lincoln era party values: God, faith, family, and leave government out of everything, because everything the government touches turns to shit.
Yeah.
So
Remember,
they are
what are the most
responsible for
horrifying
maybe,
words?
maybe a handful of the things, right? Strong military to defend your borders and keep your civilians safe, and maybe those in need to a lesser extent, but get up off your ass and go find this thing called a job. They do exist. Even the homeless people on the streets and where I live, there are job opening signs everywhere they stand. And they're going like this. Now, I don't know what their story is, but I can bet you can find a way to get out of the hole you're in. So it's kind of a rant, but we have a country that's fallen off the rails.
Correct.
And whether Trump won or not, the issues still remain. He is in the way of their destruction still, again. But he's not the only one that is going to need to rescue and put it back on the principles of the founding.
You're right. It's going to take us at least
He is one dude. We've
Yeah.
got a political platform party that still has problems with getting back the Constitution.
right. We
Even
got
as
we got
free
more. We
and
got more
fair
presidents
and-
after him. We need to have
Yes.
become
Yes.
keep the Trump
Right.
agenda
We've
alive.
got more problems in the Republican Party nationally still, even after he was trying to transform it back to where the principles lie. So, having said all that, I was initially a Ted Cruz voter, 2016. I didn't know that Trump had a fighting chance until I got to actually hear him more and see his platform come about. And then actually see him take the leadership role. People laughed at him, right? We saw the videos. Oh no, Trump will never be president. He's never going to win. And he won effectively 3 times and kicked out the political steamrolling of the Clintons and the Bushes and everybody. I mean, I've never seen a bigger ass kicking politics than when Trump came in.
Agreed.
He beat the machine in the system, and that's why they hate him.
He said he schlonged her. Remember that? She got schlonged, and she got so. You meant shellacked.
You got schlonged. It was big.
It was hairy. It was probably unwashed. And I dragged it across her face. It's so funny. He did. Trump dragged his sack across Clinton's face.
Yeah.
Let's just call it what it is.
From chin to chin.
From chin to chin. You know, it was just so despicable. But she was just awful. And if she, you know, at the end, in that 2016 election night, you know, in the back, she was like, Satan, why have you forsaken me? And she's on the ground crying, empty gin bottles around her. She's throwing the gin bottles at pedestrians. Damn it, John! You promised me! How many more kids do we need to smack a blackstipulating before you actually allow me to win? And she's on the phone with the bottle. You better fix this. It was my turn. You know that insufferable. See you next Tuesday. Oh, we're going to play that from the soundboard. Here it is. Hillary Clinton.
You're a cunt.
Yeah, just saying. But Chelsea Clinton, I just wrote an article about her daughter who's just inherited the you know.
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, I wrote that article about her. I'm like, I went for like a donkey kind of motif with the AI image I made for her in the princess outfit with the tiara.
Yeah.
And it didn't come out right because she looks like Donkey from Shrek to me. When I see her, I see Shrek's Donkey.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, she could have played him really well. So there's the Trump thing, right? So what gravitates people to him? It's not that his politics really align fully with conservative values. He's the wrecking ball to everything the left, progressive, eugenic, Marxist takeover hates. Right? He might not be as pro-life as the rest of the movement, but he believes what's left to the states in the Constitution should be left to the states. Whether you disagree or not, that's where it is. And if you're going to be back to the constitutional values of the Supreme Court and the level, if it's not in the Constitution, it belongs to states. Abortion is settled to states. You want to live in a more liberal state that allows abortions? Have at it. You want to live in a state that values more life? Move to a red state.
Interesting you bring up the abortion argument because the people that are out burning down Tesla dealerships, Tesla charge stations, and Tesla cars themselves, if you don't want a Tesla, I'm going to use the abortionist argument. Remember they said, if you don't want an abortion, don't get one. Fine. If you don't want a Tesla, don't buy one. That's how you boycott. I'm boycotting abortion by not ever actually having one. Well, I'm a dude who can't have one. But the fact that I'm boycotting in my personal life, of course, I'm been married for 25 years, same woman for 30. I'm like, there's, the abortion thing is no longer a thing. But I'm telling you that if my daughter came to me and says, hey, I'm thinking about an abortion, I'd be like, no, boycott abortion. Mm-hmm. I'll ask you to do that. But the reality of the situation is just still, again, it's going to be up to her what her values are. And she actually is more conservative than even I and my wife are, believe it. My son's even more conservative than that because they really got the values. But it's the same argument with Tesla. If you don't want to boycott Tesla, just don't buy it. Don't buy the stock. Don't buy the car. Don't buy the truck. Don't buy the Cybertruck is ridiculous.
The shitty beer that was Bud Light.
But burning it down? Really? How many breweries? How many gas stations that were carrying Bud Light? How many bars? How many nightclubs that had Bud Light behind the counter got firebombed by conservatives? Zero, because we don't do that.
I just stopped drinking it. We just stopped buying it, stopped drinking it. That's what happened. They lost hundreds of billions of dollars. That is a boycott.
That's right. And they threw our money. Cases of it out behind this one liquor store, and I had friends of mine that went and got it because they were giving it away. It was the dumpster. They said they'll haul it away because it's actually cheaper for us to have you just walk away with it than the city charges for the dumping costs because it's heavy. A case of beer is heavy, and 300 cases of them is very heavy. So we had guys pulling up a pickup trucks, throwing them in the back, just so they could take them out for target practice, just so they could take them out.
Absolutely, that's about as level of aggressive boycotting.
They were building forts and shit and shooting at each other's forts. I was like, let's see how strong.
Different than burning an $80,000 vehicle that's not yours. The can of beer that we blew up was ours at some point.
They shot at some fireworks at it and said, ha ha ha. The kid rocked it.
Yeah.
Well, by the way, did you see Kid Rock in the White House dressed up like a guy that's about to be
Yes.
shot out of a cannon? And he totally owned it
He
because he,
can really
did.
put on a show, man. Oh my gosh.
My name is
But-
Kid Cannonball.
Yeah.
I can see that. Cannonball
Well, I mean,
Rock.
but even look at that. Trump is resonating with even a leftist comedian talk show host, somebody who's you never probably would agree with, but he's having him at the White House, extending that olive branch that he was never given, courtesy of Kid Rock, obviously. But that's the time. The RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard. There's a whole host of others who were never Republican.
Correct.
Are now Elon Musk voted for, I think, Joe Biden the first time. Now moving the needle. It's
Right.
not about Republicans versus Democrats. It's pro-America versus the anti-America group now. The Civil War was not slavery for the South and the North. It was the pro-slavery Democrat Party. It was the anti-slavery Republican Party. No Republicans own slaves.
And
It's the same way now.
and furthermore, no Republican was saying, "Hey, look, we don't believe in the inalienable rights of that." And they want to tell you that no, the party's switched. They want you to believe
Yeah, that's the biggest thing I
that's
hear.
a
I'm
lie.
like, okay,
It's a
so
crock.
I point them to a really good documentary if you want a quick lesson, because the Scroogle lesson is not going to teach you anything. Go out and rewatch if you've seen it. I know our audience is probably going to see it already because they've seen it. But Hillary's America, The Secret History of the Democrat Party by Dinesh D'Souza. Read his book and watch it. He lays out everything in the history of the Democrat Party and what they never were. They were never pro-America as a party. They were never anti-slavery. They founded the KKK because they got pissed off the slavery was ending. They had blacks that were becoming more conservative, and they went into Congress, and they had leadership positions. They couldn't stand that, so they started killing them. Then you had Margaret Sanger come along in the 1930s and start Planned Parenthood on the very notion of exterminating the black race. Then you had donation after donation coming into Planned Parenthood on that very nature. So tell me, liberals, progressives, who's the Nazis today? Which party is the Nazis? Which party wants to kill the Jews?
That's
Because
right.
the
The ones that are out there
National Socialist
chasing Jewish kids down on college campuses and trapping them in rooms
Yeah.
and going, ah! Screwing about, yeah.
Socialists.
Yeah, like they
They're
ask
not
you to,
right wing.
what does it say? From the river to the sea, Palestine. Well, for you ask them what river, what sea, they're like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, you know why you're
Yeah.
you're addicted to outrage. That's all you are. You're an outrage addict, and being anti-Israel and anti-Jewish is the latest flavor of outrage that you're chugging down.
Right.
So I'm like, what the hell? You know. And I used to enjoy Candace Owens a lot, but no, she's drunk the whole flat Earth thing. She's drunk the whole young Earth thing. She's gone over the rails. She's also going, "We the Jews, we Palestine." I'm like, yeah,
That's
it's
the
all
reason
right.
why the Daily Wire kicked her out.
She
Like,
went freaking
You
insane.
can't do that.
Yeah, she went nuts, and she destroyed her brand. And she's like, well, I've adopted a whole bunch of newer people. I'm like, yeah, I get it. Yeah, a whole bunch of people that are willing to agree with you on nonsense. It's not really a group of people you want to
Right.
be hanging around with
Yeah.
because it forms that cult-like shell, and you wind up destroying your brand by that. So look, don't be like Candace Owens, everybody. It's so
Yeah,
true.
yeah. Don't be like her.
Don't be like Candace.
Yeah. So this whole switch, like we've had this argument with other liberals before. Oh, they switched parties. Now the Republicans are suddenly racist. No, a grand total of maybe 1,000 or so people switched the party, and a few handful of congressional switches happened during that time. But the party ideals, albeit big business from a Republican tent platform at some point, now is less business and more small business kind of thing. The tax thing has always been a Democrat-Republican issue. Lower taxes, Democrats want to tax the air you breathe and the crap you take. But the issue of slavery and racism have always been the Democrat Party. Today, modern slavery. Can you think of an example of modern day slavery? The Democrat Party.
Right. They get you addicted to the welfare check, and the state will take care of you. Just do as
Right.
we say.
Yeah.
Vote the way we tell
the
you
whole
to.
big government will take care of you. Slave pick. Like, hey, get more food stamps. You don't need to get a job. We'll pay you to stay home. We'll pay for your housing. Just go vote for us. Otherwise, we'll kick out of your housing. There's nothing wrong with needing a hand up to get back on your feet. But there's a difference between a hand up versus a hand out.
Oh,
And
that's
the
true.
whole argument with this food stamp thing is a giant cesspool of handouts. A mom with 18 kids by 19 different guys should not be getting about $1,000 or more a month in food stamps because she's not working in a one-bedroom apartment and she's got housing benefits.
Right.
This is the whole platform that Trump, Elon, RFK, and others are doing. We're not telling you you're losing your Medicaid. We're not telling you you're using your health care. We're telling you stop being fat. Stop being fat on the government teat.
Stop being
Trying to
unproductive.
reduce
Stop
the
being
size of government.
helpless. Yeah.
Yeah. Stop. So imagine this. Reducing the size of the federal government, as Trump and Elon are doing, is somehow Nazi-like and tyrannical. Yet growing the size of the government and giving benefits to all is somehow American.
Well, remember, they get you
That's
addicted
the
to the. They
struggle
get
that
you
I've
addicted to the
struggled with
benefits.
the last 10 plus years.
Well, they get you addicted to the benefits, so they can then say anyone trying to take it away
Yes.
is an evil Nazi Hitler who wants to
Yes.
kill you and your kids.
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
And-
They
and
want us to
removing
starve.
Removing waste and fraud from government spending will add the value of, hey, now you can enjoy your benefits when you retire because it'll be there because we've cut the 20 million people who shouldn't be on it
Right.
out. We cut the people who are 127 years old off the payroll. So they're not getting it's the common sense. And that's basically the theme of what I bring. Common sense and destroying the woke. It's a chorus in my intro that I had created by my cousin who produces music for bands he's got. He's extremely talented. I had him come up with a little jingle, and it's pretty cool. And I think that espouses the whole value of what I bring. Common sense and just bring it. And some days it's going to be a sermon. Some days it's going to just shut up, retard. That's kind of the wide spectrum of autism I sit under. I can call out and say, hey, come to Jesus. Also, stop being retarded. That's the level of which I play. I mean, I can be as holy as all get out, and I can be as dastardly as I need to be. That's where I play.
You got the okay
And that way you
retard
can never
setting,
get in
right?
trouble.
You got the okay retard
Yeah.
setting.
Yeah, the make retards great again. That's what I live by. It's not. It's you're calling retarded people. No, I'm calling out people being retarded.
Right. Well, this
To
house
work
we say
in an
retard.
environment in which there are kids who struggle with mental disabilities and actual disabilities, and they are not retarded. They have more of an IQ than the ones that are blowing up Teslas. So, and for God's sakes, Elon is autistic. He's a little
Yeah.
socially awkward. He's outside nature's laws on that realm. I mean, have you seen the guy?
Asperger's.
But he's a genius. Yeah, right. And there's a difference between calling somebody retarded and calling a retard. Somebody who's actually mentally retarded. Nobody was actually with any kind of morals is going to go up to somebody with Down syndrome and go, hey, retard, how's it going?
They're
Nobody's
not going to walk.
do
Hey,
that.
Corky, how are you doing? They're not going to do that because you get a punch in the
Yeah.
face from someone like me.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
but you go up to Elon. It's funny because I used to follow this guy on YouTube, Thunderfoot, and he entered the YouTube's. The YouTube went through different phases. There was the Wild Wild West. We couldn't do this. There was no such thing as streaming. There was no such thing as Discord. No such thing as screen share. No such thing as any of this nonsense. And we had Skype, but that was about it. But
Right.
Now, having this integrated into a platform like this was beyond the pale. So he entered when there was the Wild Wild West. So you made a video and I saw it. I responded to it. It put your name in it, tagged you in it, and usually went to your comment section. I responded to you. And then the person came back. You have these debates back and forth. There was the great race debate. And I was back then looking at that kind of content as well. Did some participation myself, trying to take the centrist position, talk to the far left and far right, with a call the far right and far left. Realized that they were part of the same horseshoe, that I was not on it. And I said, okay, I learned a lot talking to you guys. Y'all are a little nuts. Walked away from YouTube, and then it became the creationists versus the atheists, which I thought was the wrong idea. That was the wrong argument to be having. But Thunderfoot actually joined the debate for that as a scientist and an atheist. He was making the case, but he was debating a young man named Venom Fang X was his screen name, and he was a young, mentally ill young man, wealthy, young, mentally ill man who believed in pretty much nonsense. It's true, but that blew up into Atheism Plus, where feminists tried to shoehorn their way into the atheist movement, causing a split. You had Sargon of Akkad, Paul Joseph Watson, you had Tim Pool, you had all these people pop up around that time. And then with the SJW, social justice warrior, became a term. Now we just call it woke. And then you saw they diverge more and more into more right-wing politics. And then they started talking more about immigration and then Trumpism. And now we're at this point where we're trying to save the country with a bunch of people who are arguing about whether or not the world was 6,000 years old and whether or not this young man dressed up in a Batman costume in his parents' mansion, making videos about that, arguing with a full-grown man working in England, working as a tech. This Thunderfoot fella, I bring him up because he is so anti-Elon. It is absurd. If you go to his YouTube, it's nothing but anti-Elon bullshit. Even he's dead wrong about it. He watched Elon's ship rocket come back and get caught by the hands several times and said it was bullshit, nonsense, it would be a failure. He's been proven wrong again and again. Just because he was right on one subject when he was arguing with some young earth creationists doesn't mean he's right about everything else. And it's absurd to see how many positive comments a person like that, who seems to be normal, reasonable, and rational, would be the person throwing paint on a Tesla dealership today if you gave him the chance. Even smart, intelligent people can be really fucking dumb.
Yeah. And that's, some of the arguments, like Dan has said, if you have to label or bring out your education, you're probably really stupid. I've had a lot of that locally. We're like, I have a master's in DEI. I'm like, good for you. You sound really stupid just telling me that. You waste a whole lot of money on learning that race doesn't matter when you go to hire somebody. It's unbelievable how, okay, you got a master's. Great. What'd you do with it? I studied DEI.
Really, it's nonsense. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Someone came up with a brilliant idea in the chat. If you really want to stick it to these anti-Elon people that are burning Tesla cars and trucks, just go out and get yourself a Tesla and have it painted with the rainbow flag. The whole thing is just one big rainbow flag. Even better, put the trans flag on your Cybertruck. The whole thing is painted that way, and just drive around and see who does what. And if they touch it, hate crime. Next thing you know, they're like, oh! It'd be like kryptonite to them. Put a big old sticker, we don't like Elon, but we sure as hell love our hormone blockers. And they're like,
right, chemical castration. No,
my son's also my daughter. They have that on a sticker. I'm like, what the hell is this all about?
Disagree with Elon over the years with his political features. He voted for Biden, he voted for Obama, but the dude is a tech genius. I had next to nothing about electric vehicles or even just the hybrid tech, and I recently bought a new car, and I bought a Hyundai hybrid, and I went to the local dealership and said, hey, I know next to nothing. Enlighten me, because I think they're really cool. I don't want a full plug-in EV. I just think that we were way ahead of ourselves with 4 years of we're going to build everybody an EV and we're going to make them drive it.
We don't have the infrastructure.
And I
number
bought
one.
A car.
Our power grid
I bought
can't
a car
handle
that I love, and it's a hybrid. I don't have to plug it in. The technology behind this thing is amazing. All the heat caused from braking and etc. from the car charges your battery. so you don't have to worry about all that nonsense of building a stupid plug in your house. But man, they are cool. And while I don't ever imagine myself owning a Tesla, the guy is a capitalist and he's innovative. He creates things and makes them usable. That's the very idea of what America was founded on, right? This capitalist idea that you can make something, make a shit ton of money on it, sell it to others, and then grow that said good or service. And
Right.
you don't get that in China. You don't get that in North Korea. You get cheaply made products that fall apart within a week of purchase. He created the ability to have satellite internet. He's got cars that are electric. And they're getting better by the year, by the day. He's like he's Tony Stark in the real world. He makes a mistake on an idea.
Right.
He corrects it, continuously tinkering. That's what Tony Stark is, and that's what he did with his suits, his tech, everything. Elon has a way of just transforming the market. But here's the thing that sets him apart from the left, even though he supported them over the years. He's still pro-choice on the market. I make really cool electric vehicles, but I'm not going to make you drive one if you don't want to.
And I'm also not going to destroy one of yours if you bought one and I didn't.
Right.
And I'm also not going to think that that's a
families
protest.
where I live that own Teslas. I think I saw a Cybertruck the other day in town. I couldn't believe how ungodly ugly they are.
Yeah, they are. They're despicable.
You know what? To each their own.
They look awful.
They look like a third grader could have drawn it, and say, "Hey, make this car." Okay,
I know.
Gotcha.
It's like the horse with 7 legs, they didn't realize.
Yeah.
And the head that turns this way on a long neck,
And it holds a couple bags of seed and a case of water maybe in the back. I mean,
right.
they look weird, but to each his own.
Right. And it's just said, Snarl Barky in the
but-
chat just says, PayPal, Tesla, SpaceX, rescuing astronauts, discovering government fraud. The dude is a freaking genius. And it's true.
Yeah.
But like I said, you got these super smart dudes that are actual fucking scientists that come out and say,
terrible.
oh, he's a terrible guy. This Thunderfoot asshole comes out and says, oh my God, it's the Tesla, oh my God, it's Elon, oh my Hitler, Donald Trump. He was, look, Thunderfoot, everything you want to know about him, he was against Brexit. He wanted to remain part of the EU for convenience sake. Because he didn't want to have to get a passport. I'm like, you just have to get one passport from England to go to the EU. And then you have passage to all those EU states that are all together. It wasn't that much of a inconvenience. It's just inconvenient for me to get a passport to go to another country, to leave the United States to go anywhere. I have to have a passport.
Yeah.
That's not, I'm really thinking about like basing my whole, political philosophy on whether or not it's convenient for me to travel. That doesn't make any sense. Just shut up, Thunderfoot.
Yeah.
And do your nuclear experiments, benefit the world, and leave Elon Musk alone. Oh, he makes videos about everything Elon does, the Hyperloop, all the other shit.
And it's clickbait. It's look at me, I can make fun of Elon kind of thing. And it's all they do. It's all they have is, if somebody hated me that much, I think it would wear it as a badge of honor that I was doing something right. You're not getting called a climate denier.
That's right.
Recently I ran for an appointed school or a county board position, and they already had a hand-selected idiot that had no idea what he was doing, but the county board selected him. Right. And on the county board is 2 extreme socialists locally, democratic socialists they espouse themselves to be. One of them was a teacher in the district here, and he teaches little kids it's okay to masturbate, I guess, to 8-year-olds. I don't know why he's talking about that in music class.
That's a little odd.
Yeah,
he's a music teacher and he's mentioning really masturbation in the class with what grade level?
Health. Yeah, this is a kindergarten level music class. He's talking about how it's okay to masturbate with little kids.
You know what, little kids? We're going to play the triangle and the woodblock. But it's okay to pull your willy, too, when no one's looking. What? Arrest that man immediately. If my kid came over and said, Mr. Green Jean said to do this.
Hey, do you have a large presence on social media? I said, okay, sure, whatever. Do you think that climate change is real? I'm not going to answer that in this forum. That's not a forum in which you ask that question. I'm here to serve locally. But that's the type of idea. That's the type of people we're dealing with. We're not dealing with people that can have a constructive conversation on what we disagree with. We're talking about people who really are anti-American and evil people. They are not just they're not dumb. Some of them are highly intelligent, but they're stupid on the level of common sense. You don't go burning an $80,000 car because you disagree with somebody who's doing something. Where's the moral fabric in those people? The left doesn't have it. They don't have a bone in their body right now.
Well, it's very tattered.
It's gonna take another Obama-like or a JFK-like stature in the party to transform that party back to some level of some common sense. And there's just not. Where's their bench? Pete Buttigieg, Kamala Harris again.
Right.
Who do they have? There's no one on that part, and even on the right, the bench is a mile long. It's not what we said earlier. It's not about Trump. He's just in the moment, and it's talk about all the savior stuff, whatever. Even some on the right that it's Trump or nothing. Okay, sure, but what are we doing after him? What's it look like? What does this place look like after him?
Right. He only gets to 4 years.
Right. Yeah. He's 4 years.
That's right.
He's the lame duck president. Yes, he's doing everything at breakneck speed to fix the bullshit that was left behind for the last 4 years plus. Mm-hmm. But it's going to take more than 4 years to repair what Obama's third term is doing. And
right.
This
That's
time,
exactly right. You called Joe Biden's term
Trump,
exactly right.
Yes. The contrast between Trump 1 and Trump 2.0 has been so far night and day. The only person I really don't know yet for sure if I can trust is Pam Bondi. Because Trump, this is the way I put it. Trump had no idea what he's doing in 2016. No idea who to trust. He was not an insider. He was an outside celebrity. Donated to both parties. Hobnobbed with all of them because they had money. He had to have somebody of level of trust. That's why he had so much turnover in his first term. You had guys like Rex Tillerson being Secretary of State. You had Jeff Sessions as Attorney General. Like
John Bolton coming in.
John
Bolton.
That
foaming at the mouth war
guy
dog.
Who can't wait to go to a war. If you asked him, he'd be already out the door.
You say war, he goes. He starts to he grins and salivates over that. That
like,
big nasty mustache.
I just got a semi-hard on. If you said war again, do it again.
We had something we came up with on another show about Gimp Suit Bolton. We had him like dress up like the Gimp from Pulp Fiction with the. I made a meme on stream of John Bolton's face, eyeglasses, mustache, and teeth behind the guy in the Gimp suit mask from that. Bring out the Gimp. And it's like, this is what Trump would do to scare people. If you don't do what I tell you and back off, I'm going to let, bring out the Bolton. And then Bolton comes out in the suit. He's got a collar on and shit, and got a leash. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I got you. He's scary mustache man.
Yeah. You had a difference of, okay, I had 4 years to plan. So Trump's had 4 years to plan and plot where the bodies were. He saw where the bodies were. He knows they were buried. He knows who to put in place now. In term 2, nothing left to go on as far as re-election, so he can go just balls to the wall on just cutting and gutting. And he has talked with the most brilliant minds on either side of the spectrum, with Elon and RFK and Tulsi, and you've got Dan Bongino and Kash Patel. You got a lightning rod of people that don't care and left a life of luxury and fame and fortunes because of what they built, and they're taking a job. $200,000 a year, maybe.
Right.
Not a very cushy lifestyle for 4 years, if that. Now, in the fact that Bongino does well and he's still doing his thing, he can stay longer. I think the term for the director is 10 years overall, but I don't know about the deputy. But you've seen the people put in place this time to do everything at lightning speed, and you're seeing it. Now, there's a couple things I would wish they would say that they're going to do and actually do it, because we're only a couple months in. But, Epstein and Diddy. But that's me. That's me being selfish. It's fine. Because I really think along those lines, if not all, half of Congress at least would be implicated of some level.
Right.
So
sure.
Those are some of the things in my thought. I mean, I have a lot of thoughts that I can go on for like weeks on end and just talk about different things. But what led me to doing what I'm doing now and branching out is exactly what I've been talking about tonight. I got tired of going along to get along and everybody being screwed. Because at the end of the night, it doesn't matter what party is in there, we're all getting screwed the same way.
That's right.
Would you want to have your head cut clean off, the Democrat Party in charge, or at least a slow, painful death? I'd rather die a slower death by 1,000 cuts than have my head just clean off. So the lesser of two evils at this point until we can kind of fix the Republican Party.
Yeah,
but it takes all of us.
The Republican Party is going to take a whole lot of work, a whole lot of wallpaper. Maybe we have to pull a lot of wallpaper down. Maybe we have to rip up some floorboards. Maybe we may have to bulldoze a few of the Republican strongholds and rebuild those bitches from the ground up with people who are not beholden to the Epsteins of the world, to the Obamas and the Clintons of the world.
Right.
You know,
and that's the thing, like, release the names, because I don't care right, left, middle. I don't care who's on it. I don't fall in love with people. I fall in love with outcomes. Right. I think Dan talked about it a lot. Don't fall in love with people on Capitol Hill. They will ruin you every chance. Look at Thomas Massey.
Oh, yeah.
Had some great moments. And when you needed him the most, you fell in love with him, he cut your nuts off.
That's right.
Like, that you can't fall in love with people. You fall in love with outcomes. What are they doing currently? And right now, you have to give Trump the benefit of the doubt because he's put the right people in place. Now it's just about execution. The executive orders, love them. They don't do shit if a Democrat president gets in office. You have to go through Congress while he has the leg up and roll it through legislation.
That's right.
That's how you put it in permanent writing.
And you have to, I think, get the Supreme Court all like settled in as well to make sure that if they try to take it there, you get someone who's actually going to be saying, no, this ruling is fair and just and right. So that's what we're going to stick with.
And John Roberts is not that type of person to say, yes, this is constitutional. Yes, you need to shut up, lower courts. We got this. Stop your shit. He's not doing that because he has his own issues. So it takes a lot. It took 4 years to really rip it off. Band-Aid, but now it's going to take probably 10 to 20 years to really right the ship. And that's if everybody does what they did this last election cycle. And even today, we've got some local elections around the country that were huge, that have huge implications for the control of the House later on. Every election matters. To the ones that just come out in 80%, 90% during the presidential years, every election cycle matters because one day, even though you might live in a small town in a very blue state, somebody on the school board decides they think that boys can be girls. And now they're coming for your seat on the school board.
That's right.
You might think it never happens in your town, and then it does.
Next thing you know, you got litter boxes in the classroom in the corner.
Yes,
they're like, why?
Yes.
Oh, that's for the furry kids to take a dump in. I'm like, this is not right for a fifth grade class.
As best as I can lay it out for kind of a recipe for other people who are in the chat and listening and maybe live in other small parts of the country. If you're not running for office because you have no desire, find somebody who will and put your values in office. I live in a bubble outside of the central Illinois area. If you're familiar with it, Peoria, Bloomington-Normal, Illinois, 2 hours south of Chicago, that's kind of the pin where I'm at. We've got little towns that have a big church for a small town. It's phenomenal. And the school board all goes to either of the big two churches. The staff in the school district goes to one of the two big churches. I mean, and they don't shove everything down your throat. It's, hey, we're not allowing some of this goofball stuff in because we've got it locked tight. And the town people here in the two little towns we have won't allow it either. So it takes everybody. It takes a village to keep out the garbage.
True.
And I got involved locally a little bit to try to do that. But where I live, I have a county seat that is a firebrand for the governor Pritzker. So he's trying to stick his tentacles where this little county is in the central part of the state that's got a bunch of resources. So, and I'd like to see him run for president because that means he can get his fat ass out of my state. So there's that. That's my 2 cents on the governor. He can just go shove it.
Yeah, he's definitely a big turd. I've watched the videos of him.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, this is the kind of guy that stands there at the McDonald's, in the line at McDonald's, just sweating. Just breathing and sweating Crisco. He's like Chris
and
Christie.
then he'll go in the 90-degree heat and walk with the Pride Parade because he's got a transgender relative.
Imagine
brother,
that.
sister, whatever his
Imagine
name is.
that.
Oh, and he says that he became governor and he was exposed to the gay agenda. So he's telling everybody, if you're just
Exposed?
exposed to a little more of the gays, you can just be a governor. So, I mean, there you go. Tell your kids, you can be governor someday of Illinois as long as you're exposed to the gay agenda.
As long as you're willing to go out in public and watch gay men have sex on top of cop cars and we all screaming, throwing roses at them.
Yes.
I'm like, no,
Love
this
is
is
love,
wrong.
man. Love is love.
This is wrong.
That's what we're working with.
It's awful. Holy crap, dude. But yeah, that you definitely got a pedigree there that's showing that you got your bona fides. You've been doing it locally. And it's clearly something that I think a lot of folks have not been really tapping into. They haven't tapped into their local politics. You should be talking to who is running for mayor, who's running for governor. Look at the mayor in LA. The whole situation in LA probably could have been avoided if we had, number one, Gavin Newsom, and also the mayor of LA making sure that the reservoirs for her city were full. Having 40 million more gallons of water would have definitely helped them. But instead, she decided to go to Ghana. Or moving on up. And she's over there, partying up in Ghana because it's become this new big tourist spot.
On fire. No big deal.
And she gets text messages while she's there. And she's like, ain't my problem. I'm here having a good time. And she let it happen. She's the kind of person you walk in her house. And I got a soundboard over here that I use a lot. So you walk into Mayor Bass's house. Do you hear this? The ceiling bird. You definitely hear that. She's definitely the kind of person that you look at her and you ask her a question, she'll just go, shit. And you're like, you know what? Can you be serious for a time? I'd rather have Larry Elder should have been fucking mayor of your city, and you would have made sure that the water was fucking there. If you look at me and they're like, whoa, my God, don't criticize her. She's a black woman. I said, no, she's a person. And I'm criticizing a person. And she's going to live up to certain tropes and stereotypes because she has chosen to do so. She's given me the fuel to do that. She shouldn't have done that. She should have not sat there and smiled and nodded her face when she's, to the camera when she's telling you something. And then she starts shaking her head no. And she says something that we're going to rebuild LA. Don't worry. You're going to be able to move back right away.
3 permits so far. Yeah.
Yeah. And she says it's going to be 2 to 5 years for them to rebuild Malibu and the Palisades. I'm like, really? Trump had a press conference with her and said we can take care of it in literally days. And she was like,
look what he did in New York. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Nuh-uh. We are not going to let you do that.
And that's the left's only argument, right? Like, oh, well, you can't criticize him because she's black.
Or she's a woman.
Give a flying fuck
or
if she's
gay.
black or a woman. She's stupid. I don't care if you're woke. You want to be woke in LA? Fine. That's the whole city. But at least have some level of common sense. Say, hey, I need some water because we've got fires.
Correct.
That is part of your thing as a climate. You've got wildfires because it's very dry out there. So take care of your forest. And
that's right.
For the love of God, use the ocean next to you.
Well, yeah. Well, you can't use the ocean.
Gavin Newsom's like, hey, we're out of water. The Pacific Ocean is right over there. If nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, if it's an emergency situation,
stupid.
Do something. But
something is better than standing there going, yep.
They knew this was going to be a problem. The reports have already come out. Remember they had the tall white lesbian lady as the chief of the fire chief, and she later got fired because she came out and admitted that this was a problem she had brought to her attention and was told basically shut the F up about it. She criticized Mayor Bass then nuked her. They also had the black hefty female lesbian fire officer, police officer, fire person, who then said, if I gotta drag your husband out of a fire, he got his ass in the wrong place. I'm like, what the hell is this? Your job is to people don't just run into the fire because it's convenient. I got marshmallows, Martha. I got marshmallows. Let me run in there and take advantage of this. Oh no, I'm trapped under a burning beam. Well, come on. If you got yourself stuck in a fire, it's your fault. I should have to go and carry you out. That's your job.
You have one job. Stop fire, get people out.
Fire duck.
What you screw is beyond my business. Just put out the fire.
I mean, she's ruined firefighters for me. He said fire dyke in the chat. Russ, I love you, brother. You said what I was thinking, and I said it out loud, too. So this woman is telling me to my face that she doesn't have to do her job because I shouldn't allow myself to get in the fire in the first place. And it's like, okay, so you're going to say the same thing about the firemen that come to cut you out of your car when you got in a car accident using the jaws of life? It's the fire crew that does that. Oh, you're going to tell me that, no. Whoa, wait. The doctor that's doing the brain surgery on you, because you slipped and fell off a ladder and hit your head and have a brain bleed. No. He doesn't have to do that because you shouldn't have got yourself on that ladder, doing those gutters for that old lady and fell over and hit your head on the concrete. You shouldn't have done that. I'm the brain surgeon. She says I should just sit here and get paid to look good. And I'm like, no, America's better than that. We need to go back to the time like you were talking about. Return back to our base values because we've gone so woke and so crazy in so many different ways. We have allowed the wokest worst to actually have levers of power over us, and then we wonder why things are collapsing and why Malibu and why the Palisades is burnt to a crisp. We wonder why that happened.
Wonder why people are walking around with tails coming out of their ass because they were allowed to think and feel what they wanted to. And
airplanes are crash landing all the time. They don't want to tell us about the flight crew.
You can't be a guy. You can't be a woman. You have a penis. You can't. That's not how this works.
Isn't it weird they tell the girls that men are evil, white, supreme, and patriarchal, and mean, and racist, and all the awful, weird, awful rapists and everything else, rape culture, But then they tell the girls, you don't want to be a girl, you want to be a boy. So they trunes themselves to being men like Elliot Page. Remember Ellen Page? Trunes herself, and now she's the most miserable looking sack of shit I've ever seen in my life. She looks unhappy all the time. So I'm like, so you went from being an unhappy woman to an unhappy woman with short hair and no tits. Okay.
Right.
Great. Is your life better? Oh, it's not. It's not. You're still miserable. I've never seen...
Right.
And they inserted Elliot into a TV commercial recently without mentioning that it was them. And it's Hulu, and Hulu puts the most despicable advertisements. If you're living with HIV, and it's all these trans and the gays and all the gay kissing and all this crap all over it. I'm so ready for, RFK Jr. to ban advertisements for medication on the TV because I'm so sick of watching dudes swap spit on TV. I'm like, look. We don't watch commercials with straight people kissing either. That doesn't really happen.
Right. It's on both sides of the issue. Like, I don't want to see either of it. Like, just show a commercial to sell something. That's it. Every commercial has seemed either two black couples or two gay couples going at it. I'm like, what are they selling? Oh, fruit. Okay. Like a new fruit came out or a new fruit drink came out. Okay.
Right.
Just drink the drink.
That's
like,
right.
Why? Like, my kids... They're in middle school age. They grew up on the Disney Plus kind of thing. They like Marvel. Aside from a couple of the movies that came out, none of them are worth seeing.
That's right.
They've changed every story in Disney to rewrite their own, and that's
where
as aggressive as they've been to stick it down our throats, we need to push back and maybe not burn Teslas, but at least tell them, you know what? No, we're not doing this. We're not doing this.
That's why I told her, see a dude in a dress walking around in
Like
public, you go, ha! Everyone, look, he's insane. Look at the crazy person. Ha! That's what we all need to do in mass. If you just get 15, 20 people going, look at the crazy man dressed up as a woman, he'll go, oh no, and he'll run out of the store crying, and he'll go home and wipe the makeup off and throw the wig on the ground and rip the dress off and go, they really, really did like me. I'm like, yeah.
And the trans visibility day. Like, I remember 20 years ago when I was a teenager in the mall seeing cross-dressers. And you never thought about it. They weren't weird. They were just in the mall walking around with a dude in a skirt, and he walked amongst himself, didn't bother anybody. Nobody had a care in the world. But it's when you start telling you, hey, little Timmy can be a Tammy, then I want to punch you in the ovaries. Because that's not true. That can't be a thing.
That's right.
It's not a thing. Stop it.
No.
That's not how civilizations are created and sustained by playing tummy sticks. That's not how this works.
That's right. And we knew that community, the trans community, the gay community, what you want to call it, the queer community has always been there, always will be. However, we simply want them to recede back into the background again because they don't need to be up front and center. And that's why I told everybody, if you want to protect your Tesla from being vandalized, just have it painted in the trans flag. and
Right,
just
to put a
driving
Toyota
around.
sticker on there.
Yeah, slap like I love my hormone blockers, and I love my trans kid sticker on there,
Yes.
and just
Coexist.
yes, and just see how often it gets attacked by the left. You get out and you kind of swish your hips a little bit when you walk away from your fucking car, like Homer Simpson dragging his leg because he parked in a handicapped parking spot. He's trying to pretend to be handicapped. You know, I'm like, the same thing. Maybe you need to do that. I know Russ would do it. See, Russ owns the Ass Wash Emporium. It's a converted car wash. And they had Chris Christie. It's Tuesday. So Tuesday nights is ladies' night where Tina and Regina can smoke weed, play video games, and wash day pussy in the sink. That's true. He actually has a commercial. Have you seen the commercial for it?
No, I have not.
Okay. I think that perhaps
I'm going to have to be enlightened. I'm going to have to see that.
Russ Hanneman, because he's a crazy fool, and he's my Siamese twin. So, even though he lives in a different city and state, he is my actual Siamese twin. Here it is. I'm gonna have to screen share, and then we'll put it out there for everybody. Screen share, and I guess I have to add the audio for that too. So here it is, everybody. And I don't like the fact that it won't let me go like full screen on it without actually clicking on the video itself, which is dumb. Let's see here. Let's watch it. So stupid. This is going to be so funny. So yeah, I came up. He came up with this idea because one of the things I told liberals they need to do is stop being so stanky. So here it is.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, good. Let's give you some volume from his video.
Cleanliness is next to godliness. Why not clean your behind so fine that it's divine? Come on into the Ass Wash Emporium. Come on in and check out our everyday specials. The neat and tidy. We wash and powder that hiney. The down and dirty. We deep wash that ass for $30. Then there's the Kang Special. That's where we wash your ass with cocaine bear piss.
Cocaine bear piss is not an actual product.
And then there's the
Cocaine bear
Lardy's
piss.
Forget About It. That's a two-man job. Better call in advance. Chris Christie was in here last week.
Oh my god.
Two-man job.
Oh my
Lordy's
gosh.
forget
Someone
was
needs to let
hilarious.
Tina and Regina know that Tuesday nights is ladies' night, where they can smoke weed, play video games, and wash their pussy in the sink. This here is Russ Hanneman, owner and operator of the Ass Wash Emporium, reminding all of you to wash your ass.
Oh, wash your ass. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
That is
so-
brilliant marketing.
This and it's a converted. It's a converted. You know, it's all converted, and
Yeah.
it's so there's a lot of folks out there that don't know it's a converted like car wash. And he had Chris Christie like roll up in that place, and he's like, "Nope, two-man job. Lordy's forget about it."
Oh my gosh. That's too funny.
We asked people,
That
look,
is-
the Ass Wash Emporium needs to be set up in every city to help these lefties with their stanky ass. A stanky ass leads to stanky attitudes. All I'm saying.
Yes, sure does. Yeah. Starts getting swampy. It starts getting itchy. Just clean your ass. Just clean your ass.
Just clean your ass, because we're not talking spiritually and physically. We're trying to get you to understand that these people have a mind full of nonsense. And if we can just get rid of the nonsense and have them be more
think we'll be
mindful.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
and that's what we do. We're trying to purge the programming that a lot of these people have had. We're trying to clean the bowels, so to speak, of the zeitgeist.
Well, it's that well, we have elections every 4 years. It's come and go, and it's just monotony of life. I get it, but if you're not active and trying to keep this, because it's not a guarantee, then you turn into a mind rot. That's
right.
That's what it is. Whack wave inflatable.
You see what he's writing in the chat? You see what he says?
Yes.
He's like,
Yeah.
the wacky waving inflatable ass flailing tube man. And you got to say it like it's like with Futurama, Wacky waving inflatable ass flailing tube man. Whacking waving inflatable ass flailing tube man. Whacking wavy inflatable ass waving tube man. Only $19.95. Advertise your business, you know. You got the guy out there, yeah, and he's spraying crap out of his ass, and people say walk by. Trust me, you're going to get their attention.
Yes.
They will remember your product.
How else do you remember companies when you see stupid ass jingles as marketing strategies? It works.
What I saw on Facebook, it was this guy, the two guys dressed up in costumes, and it was Jones Barbecue and foot massage, Jones Barbecue and foot massage, Jones Barbecue and foot massage, and he's just dancing back and forth. And I was like, I will remember that place, Jones Barbecue and foot massage. Getting your feet rubbed while you're eating your ribs. I mean, what's a better combination?
Right,
That's America. That is America as fuck.
Get your pork rubbed while you're eating your pork rub. There you go.
Oh my God. Getting a happy ending. You know, a happy ending really is just too popping. A happy ending really truly is. It's just too like deliciously fresh out of the fryer egg rolls. There you are. That's what the happy ending really is.
Yes. There you go.
So true.
That's how you do it.
But that is exactly how you do it. So I deliver a little comedy on the show with the red pills, with the knowledge. We talk about the serious stuff. We let you know if you lose your sense of humor, you lose your mental flexibility and your ability to deal with clown world. These people will impose on you clown world. You need to keep yourself mentally limber as soon as you stop laughing.
Laugh at them, you're not doing it right.
You're not doing it right. And people say, what do you do about
the serious of what we're dealing with to not laugh at them?
What do you do about the men in public wearing dresses? Ha 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 ha! Look at him! Ha! That's what you do.
Look at this idiot. Yeah. And then he goes in the women's restroom, and then I have to beat him because he walked in there with a girl that walked in there. So it just turns funny, and now you have to hit him because he went somewhere you didn't want him to.
He was taking a selfie over the top of her stall.
Yeah,
you know, like, what are you doing?
I just wanted to laugh at him, and now he made it weird. So now I had to hit him.
Now you made it weird. Mm-hmm. and that's really what we were doing when we go online and we express our opinion. You were basically almost pointing and laughing, and there's some outrage too. The right is just as susceptible to being outrageaholics. It's true.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
But we have to be a little more prepared to take the Bongino approach. Sit back, wait for the facts.
Right.
You know, don't have to be first on everything. Just because you're first doesn't mean you're right.
Yes, be right. Yeah, you can wait 24 to 40 hours to get, it's like the Signal controversy that wasn't a controversy.
All right.
Okay, what do you got? You couldn't investigate him. You couldn't impeach him. You couldn't kill him. Now he's president. Now you got all the people in place he needs to. What do we got to do? Well, let's find out some chat. A successful mission that launched strikes on the Houthis went down. And y'all want to bitch about because they leaked it in a chat?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Could have sent it out before the strikes happened, but at least he had the decency to make it an issue after the fact.
Right.
Could have been worse. Was it dumb? Sure. How did you get?
And now we know about it.
Hating journalist.
That's right.
On the chat at the same time.
And they probably ferreted out a rat. Probably ferreted out a mole who actually did it. They're probably going to ferret the person that was lax, and they're going to eliminate that person, and they're going to eliminate their access.
It was some early reports where it was a staffer, and then it was Mike Waltz himself, and whoever it is, whatever. It got out. It was dumb. Now it's over with. It's not a non-issue because look what happened. No security information was changed. The Houthis were eliminated in that mission. End of story.
It wasn't like Afghanistan where like 13 people died.
You're right. Yeah.
13 of our soldiers dead. You know, a bunch of civilians dead. A bunch of Americans, like hundreds of them trapped. And then we start flying in a bunch of Afghanis who weren't even vetted, and they land here and they start all at the snack barring people. Who would have thunk it?
Yep.
I'm like, wait a second. Oh, but that happened under Biden, right?
Yeah. The reason why we had that airport until we were leaving entirely was because of that very reason. You hang on to a military asset in a region you're not well known in or well liked. Because if you have that, at least you have a safer way out. And you lose that when you have idiots in charge of the circus.
It's so true. When the clowns are running the circus becomes a clown show.
Yes. Yeah.
Because there's always more to the circus. There's the elephant on the ball. There's, the trapeze.
Yeah.
There's the
And
juggler,
you
sword
got the
swallowers.
old man sniffing the kids in the corner act. I mean, it's a nightmare. It's not very well paid circus.
Not a very well paid.
But then you got the
circus.
auto pen situation with Biden. Look, at some point Trump's probably going to need some auto pens because he's going to sign so much freaking legislation that he's going to need it.
His
He's
wrist is
have
gonna
an
get
arm
cramped,
problem afterwards. So it is what it is.
I'm hoping
They make
that
a bigger deal about things than they really are. Like, okay, so what? A signal investigation.
But that's what they'll always do because they always have to be right.
Where's it
You
go?
have to be wrong. They have to be right. It's my
Right.
team versus your team. It's tribalism. It's
had-
nonsense, and that's why
What's
it's a
his face?
problem.
Spartacus up there on Capitol Hill spending 15 hours in filibustering. But oh wait, suddenly the filibuster is needed. For 4 years, Democrats wanted to shred it while they were in charge because they wanted to just cram more woke shit down our throat. And turn
They
us
wanted to
into
stack
a
the Supreme
parking lot.
Court. They wanted to eliminate the Electoral College when it was Hillary. Then they wanted to, make sure they protected it when it was Biden. I was
And
like,
on
come
and
on.
But now that they're not in charge, they don't want it to go away. So Corey's allowed to sit there for 12 hours and just spew bullshit. He needs to go to the ass wash emporium
Correct.
and clean his cheeks.
Well,
He's got a lot
speaking of
got
that,
a lot of shit in them cheeks.
we got a promo we got to play. Got to pay the bills here right quick.
Red Pill Fight Club is proudly sponsored by Cocaine Bear Piss. We produce and ship only the most royal class of products. We work with only the finest hosts to advertise our kingly line of merchandise. Style matters, you motherfuckers.
Style does matter, you motherfuckers. And also, so does promo code KANG for 25% off at mypatriotcigars.com. Promo code KANG. Y'all make sure you as Am and B checking it out, everybody. And Cocaine Bear Piss contains no cocaine, no bear, no piss. It is just Kirkland brand water. Please stop asking me for it. Or you can send a check for $17.76 to P.O. Box 1111, Washington, with $4.95 shipping and handling. And you'll get a bottle of Kirkland brand water with my handiwork saying Cocaine Bear Piss on a card inside. Put it on the mantle. Enjoy it as emergency water ration if you need to. No cocaine, no bear, no piss was harmed or used or produced. Even no hippies, no hillbillies lost in the woods with their stills trying to actually do the cocaines were actually hurt in the production of this joke. All right, everybody. Well, we're going to be wrapping up here in a few minutes here. Wanted to say thank you to everyone that came out tonight, made the show a big success. I do appreciate all of you all the time coming out and enjoying Red Pill Fight Club with our guests on Tuesdays. Tuesdays are always harder, so I'm doing Tuesdays. I'm hitting Tuesdays harder with that try hard mallet, which has been improving the Tuesday performances for us out here. So there's many places you could and can and will be. And thank you all for being with me here. Next week, I've got another guest lined up for you. I will be announcing him not tonight, but probably later on as we get closer and closer. And it's going to be one of the subjects that me and you talked about before, Ryan, before the show. So let everybody tell them who you are, where they can find you, and why.
Ryan Mac Show, Rumble, X, and on Bowling Point Live.
That's
Other
right.
content creators, find me. Subscribe, follow, like. You can friend me on Facebook. I'm easily to find. I'm public. So follow me there. I'm off ScrewTube. I stopped streaming there. I also have some real estate classes I'm taking soon, so I'm going to start putting something else on YouTube for that. But yeah, Rumble and X is where I'm at spewing. So go there, and Bowling Point Live. I'll be directing more traffic flow there too.
We got bowlingpoint.live, everybody. Y'all check out bowlingpoint.live. And there you is an Am and B. You can go to bowlingpoint.live and you can see the content creators page. Ryan is now listed there amongst all the rest of us. We are growing and flowing. Also, of course, we have articles. When you go to the homepage, you can actually see the articles and look here, the declination of discourse and how low IQ personal attacks expose the socialist leftist childhood hatred. Socialism, the idea so good they have to be mandatory. Yeah, that another bowlingpoint.live article put up by Reverend himself about 8 hours ago. I write for them as well, so you'll find me over there under r.house. Writing for bowlingpoint.live. I want to thank you, Ryan, for taking the time. I know we only had 1 day to prepare for it, but thank you for coming on the show such short notice, and of course being such a gent, telling us so much about you And Carrie in the show today. I do appreciate that. I want to thank everyone for being in the chat. I is M&B Kang Bear the Toe. I look like a toe without my headset on. That's what my audience says. Yes. Of the House Red Pill, first of my name, Lord of the Reaper Horde, and purveyor of the most delicious cocaine bear piss, which does not exist. Product on the planet. Of course, promo code KANG on mypatriotcigars.com. And of course, check out bowlingpoint.live, everybody. Thank you all. It's another one for the books. If we do have a park stream for bowlingpoint.live, put it in the chat. We're going to give them a little raid. Okay, we'll raid over there. So good night and God bless everybody. I'm going to play that MAGA Mayhem outro for you. Thank you all for being here again, as always. Red Pill Fight Club out. Say good night.